Good morning. So today is October 21st, and we're moving on into the world of triangles now. So this entire unit will be about triangles. And so last night in your homework with the quiz on haiku and the videos, there were two things you looked at. One was how to classify triangles. And we know that we can classify triangles by their sides and by their angles. So there's two ways to classify triangles: side classifications and angle classifications. And there'll be some occasions today in our examples where you'll get to classify one of each category. So you'll classify a triangle with one name, one classification from the sides, and one from the angles. So just real quickly, because you did this last night, the side classifications: equilateral, where all sides are congruent; isosceles, where two sides are congruent; and scalene, no sides congruent. And then the angle classifications: if all the angles are congruent, it's equiangular; acute, if the angles are all less than 90; right, if there's one right angle; and obtuse, if there's one obtuse angle. All right, so here, this is a little trickier than what you did last night. We're going to step it up a notch. So what I have here is I have two triangles. I don't know if you can see, I've got the big triangle, and then I also have a smaller triangle inside. So the big triangle's name is ECS. The little triangle's name is EKS. And we're going to classify each triangle by its sides and its angles. So I should have two names, two classifications for each of these. So let's start with ECS, the big triangle, right? I notice that I have two hash marks, two tick marks on each side, so that would be called equilateral for the side classification. And I notice I have that 60-degree angle at the top. These other two, I'm just going to eyeball those. Those look to be less than 90, so that would be acute. Now for the inside triangle, EKS. I notice that even though all three sides have tick marks, two of the sides have only one tick mark versus the bottom has two tick marks. So this we would call isosceles, since only two of the sides have the same amount of tick marks, only two sides are congruent. I notice that I have this 120 degrees in the middle there, and that would be an obtuse angle. So this triangle must be obtuse. Now, it throws people off sometimes that this is an obtuse triangle, even though the other two angles, here and here, those are acute. But it only takes one obtuse angle to make the whole triangle obtuse. Same thing is true for a right triangle. All right, let's move on to part B. On this one, I have two triangles. I have triangle SOK and triangle OKC. Triangle SOK. Right off the bat, I hope you notice that it has all one tick mark all the way around. So that would be equilateral. And it throws people off when they see this right angle right here, but that right angle is not inside that yellow triangle. It is its own thing. So this is not a right triangle, it is acute. Okay, and then our second triangle is this green one, triangle OKC. Now, I only have one tick mark on a side here. I don't have any tick marks on the other two sides, so this must be a scalene triangle. And then I have that one right angle, so we would call it right. So in this part of the lesson, we normally you try, and I give you a few seconds to try that on your own. What I'm going to do for the video is I'm going to let you pause it, and I want you to try on your own, and then when you unpause it, then I'll discuss the you try, okay? Okay, so on the you try, there's actually three triangles. Did you see all three of them? There's triangle KIE, there's triangle EIT, and then the big triangle. Did you get that one? There's also triangle KIT. All right. Okay, so here we go. Let's maybe start with the big triangle. So I see I have tick mark, but the bottom has different amount of tick marks. So this would just be called isosceles since only two of the sides are congruent. And it appears, I'm just eyeballing this here, that all of those angles are less than 90, so it would be acute. Okay, then for KIE, I hope you said that was scalene since all three sides were different amounts. And it was right because it had one right angle. And then for the last triangle, EIT, it was again scalene. And this was also right. I hope you figured that out. Even though it didn't have a box, it was automatically assumed to be right since this one was right next door. Alright, so that concludes our first video and the first homework example. When you get this done, then you can start on the next video.